Two teams finally finding their stride, look for 3 points and even more momentum. From Starfire Stadium near Seattle, it's Saturday night action in the National Women's Soccer League as the Seattle Reign face the Chicago Red Stars. And as you look at the standings in the NWSL, an opportunity for Seattle tonight to climb out of the basement and move ahead of Washington. And for Chicago, a very important matchup as they still take a very good, positive view of their opportunity to get into postseason play. Okay, so we're along with Lesle Gallimore, the head coach at the University of Washington. I'm Tom Glasgow. Nice to have you with us. Terrific weather tonight. A little warm by our Northwest State. Of Washington. I'm Tom Glasgow, and Leslie, on this warm night, at least by Northwest standards, we have a Reign team that's finally kind of putting some things together. They just came off a very successful road trip, 2 games, they came away with 4 points.
Yeah, you know, it's exciting for them to be able to come home with a little bit of momentum. They had the tie, and then obviously the monkey off their back with the win against Boston the other night. So we've got the debut, hopefully this evening, of Megan Rapinoe. The team's starting to come together. There's been some trades, some acquisitions, etc. But I really think it's important tonight for the Reign to get a win. They've got to go back-to-back with W's and get the 3 points at home.
And certainly no coincidence that with Megan Rapinoe joining the team, they did have that success in those 2 games. What does she mean to this Seattle team?
She means a lot. You know, she's a great attacking player. She's a feisty defensive player. She can play multiple positions. She's always a threat to create a goal or score a goal herself, and that's what this team's been missing most of the season is goal-scoring threats. And she's a veteran. I mean, she's a wily veteran that knows how to pull a team together, and it's important that she's with the team now for the second half of the season.
Well, Chicago, like Seattle, getting some recent additions in terms of talent, and up front, Inka Grings, one of the all-time great players out of Germany, joining the Chicago team about a month ago, and that has certainly helped.
That'll make a difference. A goal scorer, someone with almost 100 caps for the German national team, many, many years under her belt playing in the Frauen Bundesliga with Duisburg, also played in Zurich. She's a good player to have on your side. I've watched her for many years, and again, that experience that it brings to a team that may be struggling is important as anything, psychologically as well as how it produces goals and results on the field.
Well, these teams open this season against each other on the Red Stars' home pitch, and I think we're looking at another close one tonight. That one, a 1-1 draw. Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, let's go when you're ready. Yep. I'm going to ask for starters. And along with Lesle Gallimore, Tom Glasgow, and great to have you with us as we take a look at the starting lineups for tonight's match for Seattle Reign FC. Hope Solo in goal. Defensively, it's Ellie Reed, Lauren Barnes, Kirsten Dallstream, Kaylin Kyle. Midfield, Kate Deines, Jessica Fishlock, and Keelan Winters. And up front, Christine Nairn, Kenya Cordner, and Liz Bogus. Megan Rapinoe not starting tonight, although she is expected to play about 30 minutes or so. The starters for the Chicago Red Stars: Aaron McLeod in goal, a defense of Vandenbergh, Hemmings, Santacaterina, Foose, and also Wenino. Midfield of Mautz, Osborne, and one of the best in the business in Lori Chalupny, and also in the forward positions, Inka Grings and Ella Masar. So we are happy to have you with us. Head coach of Chicago, Rory Deines, the head coach of Seattle, Laura Harvey. Referees for the match tonight. In the circle, it's Josh Wilkins. The assistant referees are Veronica Perez and Samantha Moose, and the fourth official is Ian Johnson. Well, very busy stretch, Leslie, for the Reign. This will be their 3rd match in 7 days. That's one of the reasons why Megan Rapinoe is not getting the start tonight. She had come over from France, where she was playing in Lyon, and of course duty with the national team. she has been busy, and they want to be very careful in terms of not wearing her out at basically the midway point of this NWSL season.
Yeah, from a coaching standpoint, that's really understandable. From a fan standpoint, it's a disappointment.
Sure.
And I love it. I love Megan Rapinoe as much as the next person, and we were hoping for this first home game, especially since she played in the last one, that we'd be able to see her, on the field sooner than later. But Laura Harvey knows what she's doing, and depending upon how this game goes, maybe they can get her in at an opportune time, or maybe they don't have to play her too much at all, and she will be rested for the next match. So we'll see.
And we are underway at Starfire Stadium, just about 15 minutes south of Seattle in the community of Tukwila. It's a large soccer complex, also hosting a youth soccer tournament this weekend. But the focus right now on a Seattle Reign team with its first opportunity for back-to-back victories, coming off a come-from-behind 2-1 win at Boston on Wednesday.
Well, they haven't had a home game since I left for my trip. So the last game I was here, they went on the road, and I went on the road to Italy with my team. Coming back, after this win, I'm super hopeful that the Reign can parlay that into a second win and, again, hop in the standings and start to get some momentum going. It's summertime in Seattle, and as you can tell by the crowds, they're already starting to build as the summers come upon us and, really get people behind this team. The other thing is, looking at the lineup, they have become pretty consistent with Hope in the back line. They currently are starting. It's great to see Ellie Reed back on. She suffered an injury. They've moved Kate Deines into the midfield. She was injured for a while, but now seems to be back in form. So, there's a lot of positives happening for the Reign.
Good early pressure for the Reign. Be a throw-in for Seattle. Some of the things we should look for early out of this Seattle 11.
Well, I know Coach Harvey is looking for them to keep the ball, as any coach is. You don't want your team to turn the ball over, but they want to be able to put Chicago under a little bit of mental pressure by stringing a lot of passes together. They want to be able to possess the ball, make them chase, and really wear them out by keeping it on them and creating chances.
So you mentioned these teams met back on the home pitch of the Red Stars to open this season, but plenty of changes for both teams, so I'm not sure there's much to be learned. Advantage, it's play on for Seattle. Keelan Winters dropping it back to Kaylin Kyle, a member of the Canadian national team. Here's Ellie Reed. Kenya Cordner, a recent call-up from the Reign reserve squad, had an impact in her first appearance in an exhibition against the Haitian national team, and that impression obviously a very good one as she gets a start here this evening. Yeah,
I've watched Kenya play quite a bit on the Reign reserve team, which was the Issaquah Club team last year, and she's athletic, she's fast, and I've been very interested since her call-up to see her play at this level. You saw her first touch go out of bounds, she turned it over. I don't know if that's nerves for the first home game or I'm curious myself to see what level she's at. If you get her in flat-out open space, she can run with it. That's a great switching ball right there by Nairn.
Over to Liz Bogus, who had the assist on the game-winning goal at Boston. From just about that spot she's in right now. Deines unable to track that down. Chalupny got a touch on it for Chicago. There's a lot of things offensively for this team. Will run through number 17. Kate Deines, former player, and a great one for Lesle at the University of Washington, getting her first start as a midfielder this season with the Reign, but a position she's very familiar with.
Yeah, she came in late in the last game. I was here at home against Kansas City in the midfield, and she struggled a little bit. I don't think she was in midfield shape yet, and she'd been on that injury for quite a while. I'm sure she's back in form now, and that's where she played more for us than at the back, and I think she'll do fine at either spot.
Ball intended for Cordner. Good defense by Chicago.
I think Cordner's a player that they're going to want to play through and in behind the defense more than they're going to want to play her in front of the defense.
Well, confusion as to Inca Grings. Felt that should be Chicago's ball. Ellie Reed throws it in and will reset everything. Josh Wilkins wants to get a little organization back on the pitch. Reed to Jess Fishlock, outstanding midfielder for this team, member of the Wales National Club.
She's become quickly here in Seattle a fan favorite. I think she loves the city of Seattle. She loves this team, and she's a fun player to watch. And I think with the addition of Hope and the addition of Megan Rapinoe, it's probably been a welcome relief to her to have a little bit more age and experience join her, as I think she was kind of pulling the, I would say, towing the line as far as experience went for a while there, and now she's got some help.
And the potential for a real dynamic combination between Fishlock and Rapinoe when they're on the field at the same time. Kyle, a little strong to the near sideline. Throw in for Chicago. Vandenbergh. Masar. And turns it over. Deines had some ankle issues this year. That's a nice ball up ahead to Christine Nairn with some room. To Cordner. And it'll be a corner kick, the first of the game for Seattle.
And that's what Kate can do. She can spray the ball. Her range is unbelievable, and her touch is unbelievable. So she can, loft the ball and just drop it right on the foot. She can switch it 60 yards. That was just a great pass she played there. And Christine Nairn, to me, has been all-world all year. I've just been really impressed with a first-year player being as solid as she's been.
No trouble on that corner kick as Aaron McLeod takes care of it. And Christine Nairn, along with Fishlock, leading Seattle in scoring this season, both with 2 goals. Seattle club that's been outscored on the season 21-7. Chalupny, good defense in the box. Masar, a little pressure on the Seattle defense right there.
Lori Chalupny for the Chicago Red Stars is a player that you have to keep your eye on. She had some medical issues, I think multiple concussions that started to hurt her professional career. It certainly hurt her national team career and whether she could play again or not. Hopefully she's playing, with the doctor's approval and she's safe about it, but I'm happy to see her still playing. Lori Chalupny is one of the best players this country's seen. She can play multiple positions. I know for a long time the national team played her as an outside back. She prefers the midfielder forward. Stand out at North Carolina, stand out for the youth and full national teams, and can shoot from distance with either foot. You just don't want to give her even a little window to get a shot off.
There's Bogus trying to turn the corner and able to do so, but it will be a Seattle throw-in. We are early on in the 8th minute here at Starfire Stadium. Scoreless between the Chicago Red Stars and the Seattle Reign. And if you're watching and a fan of the Red Stars back in the Chicago area, great to have you with us. You are obviously hardcore in terms of support for your team with a 10 p.m. kickoff Central Time, but it's great to have you along this evening from Seattle. One of the better crowds tonight for a home game for the Reign. And part of that the weather, part of that the additions of Hope Solo as she had her wrist injury issues overcome, and also Megan Rapinoe joining the team, and again, we expect to see her at some point in the second half. Good run by Bogus down the far sideline, looking for Nairn, and defended well by the Red Stars. Chalupny playing it to the far sideline, and miscommunication there. Seattle throw-in. Getting some questions via Twitter this evening, and if you'd like to send one our direction, I have no answers, but Leslie does. So feel free to do that at Twitter at Seattle Reign FC. And the first question that has come our way tonight: when will Stephanie Cox join the team? She recently signed on. She's been training with the team for about 3 weeks, and in talking to Coach Harvey, I guess the answer would be sooner rather than later.
Yeah, she'd be a great one to pick up. Another veteran, a great defender, someone that can attack out of the back. Obviously, Steph has had a baby not too long ago, so she's probably just trying to get back into physical form and get on the pitch, feeling as good as she possibly can. But that would be a great addition for the Reign.
Saw her at training yesterday. In fact, the Reign on your home field over at the University of Washington. They loved it, by the way.
Yeah, I hear.
The natural surface is in fine form right now.
It is. Our grounds crew does an outstanding job. We had to miss their training. I was going to stop by, but we had a sneak peek at the football stadium that opens this August. So we were up having a luncheon with some of the construction workers that have worked on that project.
Which looks good as well from what I can see. New Husky Stadium.
It's a sight. I know a lot of people tonight are wondering why Megan Rapinoe hasn't started. Word is from Coach Harvey, based on the Boston game and her travel over from France and just her schedule over the last couple weeks, that she's pretty fatigued even at training, and they want to be smart and manage these games over the next few weeks because they feel that they're getting up to full health and full strength, and they want to be, again, manage players' time and minutes so that they can get the best results possible. So we're going to trust Coach Harvey that she's doing the right thing. If she's plays 30 minutes, hopefully it's a crucial 30 minutes, because I know I was disappointed when I heard she wasn't starting. It's a big week here in Seattle. It's Pride Week. Megan Rapinoe has been very vocal and open about that, and so I thought it would be kind of prophetic to see her start in this game today, and I know people are disappointed. So I know when and if she goes in the game, you're going to hear a thunderous roar from the crowd.
Teresa Noyola also in terms of needing a bit of a break, not getting the start this evening. And it was interesting yesterday after training, Leslie, one of the points that Coach Harvey was driving home to her players, again with this stretch of 4 games in 10 days, 3 and 7, I need you to be honest with me in terms of how you're feeling, your fitness. Maybe Megan will work on her at halftime, and
right.
I can go these 45 minutes. I can do more than 30. So
right.
Megan played here last summer as part of the Sounders women's team, so she understands what a passionate soccer community Seattle is. Keelan Winters battling right there with Osborne.
And I would say, too, that Megan Rapinoe is not a bad option to have off the bench when you talk about subbing up as a coach. She's someone who definitely would provide a spark for this team.
Ball last touched that time by Vandenbergh. Keelan Winters. Father Brian was an outstanding player in the NBA, also went on to become a head coach in the league.
The Chicago team, they're good. Inka Grings, we talked about her before. She's a veteran. You can't give her too much room up front. You can't give her too many opportunities. But I'd say overall, looking at both these rosters and looking at the way they played each other the first time in Chicago, this is a very winnable game for Seattle. They've got to come out aggressive. They've got to come out, getting after them, pressing the issue, I think, in the attack, putting pressure on the back line of Chicago, and really get after this game to keep that momentum going and continuing to build their attacking confidence, which lacked, greatly in those first few games.
Well, much was made of Seattle's win at Boston, the first win for this franchise, but there's still business to take care of. They'd love to get their first win at home in front of their fan base, and they've not done that. So certainly something they're hoping to accomplish tonight in a game that so far neither team has really showed any superiority over the other. There'll be a goal kick coming up for Hope Solo.
The other player that's been acquired recently that hasn't been approved to play yet by the league, I don't know if you mentioned already, is Jess McDonald, who was on Chicago's roster. Fast, athletic, attacking player, which Seattle, again, could use. So it'd be interesting to see if that gets approved and when she can play. That'd be a great addition.
Coach Harvey mentioned, you talked about the speed, Leslie, but the speed in combination with the size at about 6 feet tall, so a unique player, at least in terms of what she would bring to this Reign roster.
Yeah.
The hope was they would have her available tonight, but again, not cleared through the league office.
Right now, Hope is playing in the goal that has the sun on it still, so their defense has to be careful. She's going to be in a little bit of trouble if they get something up there that's where the sun's in her eyes. The other keeper, Aaron McLeod, is completely in shade, so they've got to be diligent in preventing anything that might give her trouble early on until the sun goes past there.
Very nice touch and pass by Kate Deines over to Reed. Throw in for Seattle.
Ellie Reed played at the University of Portland and has always been a ton of fun for me to watch. And I think the thing she adds coming back into this is she's just such a great attacking presence out of the back. She gets forward. Her timing when she gets forward is excellent. Her technique is excellent. I think she definitely adds a lot to the Reign attack.
Ball cleared out. Kyle trying to play it back in. Nice run here by Chicago, but a good tackle by Kyle that time on Taryn Hemmings. Red Stars throw in. And Masar unable to keep it in play. And off Masar. Mentioned Inca Grings joining this team about a month ago, an outstanding player, the all-time leading goal scorer internationally for the German team. But Sonja Foos also coming over from Germany and helping strengthen the back line for Chicago.
You can't go wrong with a couple of experienced German players. You know, they're one of the best countries in the world in the women's side. At the national team level, the Frauen-Bundesliga is an outstanding league that produces good soccer, great players. So, we saw this in the WUSA and in the WPS that players with that kind of experience internationally are a great addition to the American League here.
Fishlock looking for Cordner, who has some speed. And well played that time defensively by Hemmings. Bogus comes up with it. Seattle on the takeaway. Dallstream. Cordner. 1v1. Defended well by Chicago.
You know, and Cordner for me, it's going to be similar a little bit to Tiffany Cameron in, athletic ability, speed. Tiffany Cameron, who's since been put on waivers and then picked up by Kansas City. Cordner, you just want to see at this level, does she have more ideas? Tactically, 1v1, there's going to be defenders that can keep up with you speed-wise. So what other ideas do you have to combine or beat a player to create? And so that, I think, is going to be the learning curve for her. It'll be interesting to watch.
One of the things I noticed about her, Leslie, in that game against the Haitian national team, she is slightly built. And when she gets hit, she flies and can draw fouls. It's not flopping. It's just that she will travel a bit when things get physical. So we'll see if that might have some advantage for Seattle tonight, maybe leading to some set play opportunities near the Chicago goal.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned before. You're definitely going to want to try to combine and play her through as opposed to, in front of the back line. I mean, she's already been battered around a couple of times, and you look at her compared to every one of the defenders on the Chicago team, and they've got her by a good 50 pounds, I think, apiece. So you don't want her backed up against that back four. You want to get her in through.
Dallstream plays it out.
One of the tweets is asking for a big shout-out to the Mexican fans who support Teresa Noyola. And I would also throw in there Jenny Ruiz and the rest of the Mexican national team players that are playing in the league. I know it's been a big step for their federation to support them, and I certainly have been happy and proud of my alum Veronica Perez at Western New York and the rest of her Mexican national team teammates that joined the league on allocation. So shout out to, I will say, Viva Mexico.
Winners is looking for Nairn. Nairn with a game-winning goal, the first in franchise history. Wednesday night in Boston in the 86th minute. Seattle scoring in the 78th and 86th minute after trailing 1-0 to come from behind and get that victory. And that was another example, I thought, of the perseverance of this team. Here's Nairn. She took a shot that was deflected. Fishlock competing that time with Santacaterina. Kyle trying to switch over to Bogus. Nice pass.
Great cut by Liz Bogus and a nice hard serve. I think
Deines.
she started to gain her confidence in the attack as the season is worn on too. I think, hopefully the win the other night, and I think she had the assist on a goal, is going to sort of be a jumping off point for Liz.
Nairn looking for Cordner and not taking any chances that time was Lydia Vandenbergh, and a second corner kick coming up for Seattle.
This is one of the things when they weren't getting goals in the run of play we talked about a lot in those first few games is, they need to capitalize on restarts. We haven't seen a lot of goals off corners or free kicks, and that is something that that you can work on and be dangerous at. They have good enough players in the air. Hopefully with Kate back in there, Keelan is very good in the air. Kirsten Dallstream's good in the air. They should be dangerous on corners.
Far post. Deines. Cordner goes for the bicycle kick. Overshoots the target. Example of her athleticism, and well responded to by the fans here at Starfire Stadium.
Everybody likes a good bicycle kick.
They like it better when they go in.
Yeah, they do. You have to like the fact that she tried it. As I said before, Kate's good in the air. She got that one back into the box in a crowd, and that's what needs to happen consistently with the rain. One of the things I'd like to see a little bit more with the rain and the run of play in this 3 front is a little bit more staggering of the forward line, a little bit more interchange. They're running a little bit in channels, a little bit flat. I feel like they're a little bit too easy to mark for the back line. You notice, if they just drop off and keep them in front of them, they're pretty easy to mark. I think they need to interchange and just show a little bit more mobility up front to be more dangerous, because they're clearly capable of it.
Cordner on that last play, overly optimistic, trying to take on 2 defenders, would have been better off dropping that ball to Ellie Reed, who had nobody on her. McLeod playing it out to Vandenbergh. Looking for Masar, but Reed there for the defense. Throw in for Chicago. Again, Reed plays it out. Other team really able to get into a strong flow so far in this game, now in the 22nd minute. A few more scoring opportunities simply by having the 2 corners for Seattle.
Yeah, I think Seattle, if you're going to say run of play, they've probably had a little bit more, they've been a little bit more dangerous.
Dallstream.
But this hasn't been really a possession chess match by either team. It's been 2, 3, 4 passes and a giveaway, 2, 3, 4 passes and a giveaway. They both need to settle in and get into a little bit better rhythm. I think the forward line for Seattle could help that, playing off them, playing back, and playing through a little bit more.
Throw in for Chicago. Good look at Ellie Reed, number 7 for Seattle. Also Inca Grings, 21 for the Red Stars. Foose playing it back. It's an example of just what you were talking about. 3, 4 passes and then the turnover. And here's Seattle trying to get something going. Cordner, and she meant to do that. It was a pass to herself. Ended up turning it over. Grings, numbers here for Chicago. Maybe a good opportunity, but the turnover. Kyle disrupts that break. There should have been more there for Chicago that time.
Yeah, they didn't capitalize on that. And again, you watch Ellie Reed and Kenya Cordner, and I'm a little bit obsessing about this, but Ellie's calling for Kenny to come back for the ball when all she wants to do is just run straight ahead, and the defenders read it. She's got to do a better job of reading the game, reading what's on, and then she comes back with the bad touch into 3 people and another giveaway.
Dallstream into the box. Fishlock. Yes, Fishlock looking for a 3rd goal this season. A little strong, a little frustration there.
Yeah,
she's a fire plug, fun to watch.
Yeah, you know what? She has high expectations of herself.
Yeah.
She knows that's one that even if hitting it first time, she could have hit it a little bit better. She's a little aggravated with herself there, but that's a great opportunity for Fishlock, and let's hope she gets a couple more looks just like that one.
Leslie, sometimes those are the balls you almost want to drive into the ground, drive into the pitch, and just make sure you put it on goal.
Well, particularly when you're playing on turf, get one that skips and bounces up.
Red Stars throw in, Vandenbergh. Hemmings plays it back to McLeod. Deines making a run at the ball. Cordner tracking down on Vandenbergh. Good possession here for Chicago. Now they just have to find a way to move it forward into a more dangerous situation.
Yeah, it's good to see Lesle Osborne playing again. You know, she suffered a few injuries, and she's had a great career. She and Lori Chalupny played on the U19 team that won a World Cup back in the day. They've both been, you know, stalwarts at times on the U.S. women's full team. You know, Lesle is out of the Midwest, but played at Santa Clara University for Jerry Smith, and just a tremendous person, just a terrific human being. And it's great to see her having made comeback time and time again.
Lesle, number 12, throw in for Chicago.
She's a great interview because she's just got the most heavy Wisconsin accent you can imagine. So it's always fun to get a good chat with her so you can giggle at her.
Talk some brats and cheese.
Yeah.
Mautz had tried to make a move into the 18-yard box that time. Chalupny. Bogus.
I think what you're seeing from both teams here, that you know they're skillful enough and they're passing, they're trying to do the right thing. The problem is I don't know if it's the temperature. It's fairly warm here tonight, but it's the mobility is not good from either team, and it's just too easy to read defensively. Yeah. You've got to pass, you've got to move, you just have to create more with your movement.
Mott and saved by Solo.
You gotta love
Mautz.
Yeah, you gotta love when Hope's called into action once and does the right thing on the near post there. That ball's driven near post, and a couple weeks ago we saw her hit that into the post for a goal, and this time she covers her near post and deflects it out around the bar.
Mautz just blew by Lauren Barnes defensively in that last line of defense. One of the best in the world, of course, in Hope Solo. First corner kick in this match coming up for Chicago in the 27th minute. Header is out. That was taken by Osborne and deflected off a Seattle defender, so a second corner coming up for the Red Stars. One of our Twitter questions coming in, any chance Haley Kopmeyer will be kept on as a reserve, a backup keeper, due to all the roster changes? Haley had to be let go this week, and I would guess that might be a possibility, although I'm sure she'll look at other options in the NWSL. Fishlock. Bogus.
One of the questions has been about the Moscato trade, that she was being traded from Chicago to I don't know where. I don't know if that finally came down, so I can't give any details on that. You know, most teams, it hasn't been due to the level of the players and where they're playing. It's more positionally. I think teams are just trying to figure out what their needs are at this point in the season and what will help them.
Mautz last to touch that. Throw in for Seattle. Spoke with Rory Dames before kickoff tonight, and he said, you know, we're in a very similar situation as Seattle was, really hurting without the availability of U.S. national team performers. And that really is the foundation of these teams, those allocated players, be it the Americans or Canadian or Mexican players. You really need to have them. And for Seattle, Rapinoe in France, Hope injured with the wrist, Amy Rodriguez pregnant. Hard to overcome that. And now with Rapinoe back, and again, we expect to see Megan in the second half. Hope solidifying things defensively, and maybe Amy next year, post-baby, we'll see.
A lot more positives coming for the Seattle Reign. And speaking of positives, you know, when you have a reserve team that you can go and fish some players out of, and this has been a great opportunity for Kenya Cordner to be pulled up from that team. And, you know, a kid like her coming from a college program, a Tobago native, you know, Laura's been able to watch her pretty closely, and she said she's ready. She's, you know, honing her skills every day, and playing at this level and playing with this group as opposed to just playing with the reserves is just going to make her better and better. And, again, she can score goals. I've seen it.
And it also sends a message to every other player on that reserve club.
Work hard, you'll get an opportunity.
You might get a chance, absolutely. 30th minute here at Starfire Stadium. Not much drama in this one up to this point. We are scoreless. Neither team really able to find a flow up to this point. Kaylin Kyle up to Reed. Played down to Fishlock. And defended well by Hemmings.
You see Fishlock running out of the midfield over to the right flank. That's the mobility I'm talking about. When you can have players interchanging position and giving the defense trouble tracking them, that's going to create chances for you.
Reed trying to split the two defenders and get the ball back to Cordner. It'll be a goal kick coming up for Aaron McLeod. Again, if you have questions you would like to send us via Twitter, at Seattle Reign FC, send them in. We'll try to answer them. One of the questions coming in, how did Fishlock's time go in Wales? Well, I asked her yesterday. We were out at training, and I simply said, how was the time with the Wales national team? And she said it was terrific. So there you have it. She felt good about it. Great to have her back. Dallstream clearing it out. Nice header over to Vandenbergh. Into the 18. And Grings unable to control it. She could have dropped that at her feet. It would have been a very dangerous situation for Seattle.
I feel this is where Kenya Cordner could be very, very effective, is off Hope's punts.
She tracks that ball down, trying to play it back to Fishlock, defended well.
Yeah, if they could get someone underneath to head it onto her and have her run off it, that'd be a real danger spot for her. That'd be a great place to use her. And the team's already in the games that Hope has now been able to play figured out that punt's going to go a ways, and that it's definitely an opportunity.
Christine Nairn.
So it is coming in, the trade rumor that Moscato was traded for Adriana Leon to Boston. And I can only speak to things I'm seeing on Twitter and no reasoning behind either. But obviously, if both teams have agreed to a trade, I'm guessing that benefits them both.
Foul going against Chicago. Cordner hitting the deck. Haven't had many fouls in this match so far. So set piece coming up for the Reign. Look at Aaron McLeod as she works her way back into goal.
Aaron McLeod, one in a long line of great Canadian goalkeepers, great Penn State goalkeepers, and she's fun to watch. She's kind of a character. Standing out in her bright pink this evening.
Nairn to take the free kick. Left-footed service into the box looking for Deines, and no trouble for McLeod, who gets it out quickly to the near sideline. And Cordner with the tackle from behind on Foose. Sonia not real thrilled with that play coming up from behind, and Cordner getting a bit of a talking to from Josh Wilkins.
"33 minutes in, and this game has stayed about the same."
It has.
Yeah, it's still not a ton of possession for either team. Probably more dangerous chances. Hope had to come up with one pretty significant save.
Here's Grings, 1v1, and Solo with the save. Best opportunity for either team right there. Inca Grings, and Hope Solo could not have played it any better. All taken away from Deines. Mautz. Grings. She and Masar not on the same page on that opportunity.
Yeah. That's just as I was saying. Now I'm going to swing my vote to Chicago's had two of the more dangerous chances, and on both, Hope's come up pretty big. But from a soccer standpoint and a possession standpoint, both teams still looking to find their rhythm a little bit.
And this type of game, you can see where Megan Rapinoe could make such a instant and important impact.
Well, if you look over to the bench, there's going to be a moment where you start to see her legs bounce up and down,
yeah.
and that means she's probably going to start itching to come in. So, player of her level is probably all it's going to do is take her head, looking down to the head coach, and the hint will be received, and she'll want to play.
Nice touch by Bogus to Reed. Reed taken down. Free kick coming up for Seattle. Nairn faking a pass to Reed that time. Looks like she'll serve it up into the box.
I think we
does. McLeod knocks it away. Dallstream didn't get everything on it she wanted. Kyle did not make clean contact either. Here comes Reed. Ellie Reed serves it up. Fishlock the header. Saved by McLeod and cleared away by Chicago.
Great box by McLeod in a crowd. Gets back in her goal. I thought the Chicago defense was a little casual recovering. And then great header by Jess Fishlock and a great save by McLeod.
Best opportunity to score in this match for Seattle. Fishlock, what a great reaction that time by Aaron McLeod.
The Soundermen have just shown up en masse and have turned the heads of the crowd. We just had Eddie Johnson and Lamar Nagel and Andy Rose. They've all just paraded across the front of the field and here to show support for the Seattle Reign. It's great to see.
Great to have them here. Kyle, right on target to McLeod. .37th minute here in Seattle. Dallstream. Near sideline. Terrific ball to Ellie Reed. Reed in toward Fishlock. And cleared away by Chicago. Getting a foot on it, Hemmings, and that will lead to corner kick number 3 for Seattle. Nairn just walking over, get things set up. Deines was the target last time on the far post. Deines again going over the back of a Chicago defender, called for the foul.
The player we haven't really talked about tonight for Chicago is Shannon Box, who was sidelined again in April with a knee injury. She's out. She's had other things that have gone on. I mean, obviously, she's played a long and storied career. Proud to say she's my high school alum buddy from South High School in Torrance. And, you know, Shannon's just a warrior. She's battles lupus and made that public. She, for a lot of years, never said anything about it. And, you know, finally has come out and has obviously done a lot for the cause and fundraising and started a foundation, et cetera. But Shannon Box is a player that not only the U.S. national team misses, but the Chicago Red Stars really miss.
Played in the first game against Seattle, the season opener, then played a little bit in the second game as well, and then the knee was just not responding, and so had to get that cleaned out and continues to recover. Masar with the ball into the box. Nobody there for Chicago to take advantage of it. Throw in for the Red Stars. Mautz, nice turn by Mautz. And a rather weak shot to Solo.
Mautz has had a good season for Chicago so far this year out of Texas A&M. She's, you know, she's put some numbers up. She's had some assists, some goals, and she's, you know, I haven't seen too much of her tonight, but she's someone that can be very dangerous in the attack for this team.
2 goals on the season, and if not for a terrific save by Solo, she would have had a third. If Cordner could have done a little bit better job on that touch, he may have been able to turn and would have had room in the box to get a very good shot off.
Definitely the right idea. The defender was playing her on that side, the other side, and she turned her to the side she wasn't playing her on, and that she would have been free on goal. So she keeps getting those chances. I don't think Chicago's going to want to give her that many. They better tighten up on her. She could cause some damage.
Kyle playing it back to Solo. Lauren Barnes defensively. Seattle number 3. Ball scooting right past her. Has played more minutes than any member of this Reign squad this season. 1,050 coming in. We're now in the 40th minute here tonight. Kyle. Direct ball, seeing if Cordner can track it down. Nearly got there, but screened off by Hemmings.
Still nobody warming up for either team. So if any substitutions are going to happen, it looks like it'll probably won't be until half. It'll be interesting to see with this little bit of a stalemate going what both coaches do. And I think at this point in the season as well, it's the second time you've played a team. Obviously, they've watched tape on each other. All the teams have. When there's only 8 teams in the league, you're going to get to know the teams pretty well. Games like this start to take place where both teams are negating each other's strengths.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need that first goal to really open things up. And you can go from a defensive struggle to more of an offensive-minded game. Deines in Seattle tonight with an opportunity. Good tackle there by Chicago. Wenino making that play. Here's Mautz. Number 4 against number 4. Deines and Mautz. And Dallstream there to help out. And that'll be a goal kick for Seattle. The Reign, with a win tonight, would move out of the basement in the National Women's Soccer League. That would give them 8 points. They'd go ahead of Washington, which has just 6 points. For the Red Stars, entering this match, 3 wins, 5 losses, 3 ties, 12 points. Boston also with 12. And then in 4th place with 20 points, it's FC Kansas City. So again, with just a little less than half the season remaining, I think Coach Deines can certainly talk to his team about, yes, as all coaches, we're going to focus on what's at hand, but in the big picture, maybe an opportunity to get into the playoff picture. But I think they would look at this one as one they have to get tonight here at Starfire Stadium. Bogus.
Yeah, and for the Seattle Reign, there is so much incentive to try to get this game, and that's what I would like to see. Hopefully they up the intensity here a little bit in the waning moments to try to get a little bit more aggressive in the attack and poach one before half, which could be, key to the rest of the game. Or at least at halftime, the discussion of, all right, we're home now. We have the one game under our belts, and after a rough start to the season, this is where we have to pick it up. That's the monkey's off our back with whether we're ever going to win or not. Now we've got to take it to the next level and play with confidence.
Reed. Bogus trying to chest that down. Ball was last touched by Seattle. Can you hit? Will a team buy into this, Leslie, hitting a reset button and saying, look, here are the circumstances in the first half, so many things out of our control. Let's learn from it, not forget it. Let's just learn from it and move on. Let's start fresh. Now, that doesn't do anything in terms of postseason, but in terms of a mindset moving on with more of a full roster at hand and their attitude despite the adversity. To a player, they talked about how they stuck together.
Yeah.
So maybe there's the one benefit that you can say, let's just start fresh at the midway point.
Oh, absolutely, and that's what makes them professional players, is that they absolutely have to do that. There's no other choice. You have to be a professional. You have to play every match, for that match and for its importance. And you have to credit Coach Harvey. She really did a wonderful job in the first half of this season. She and her staff. Keeping them together and making sure that the attitude was right. There were, a few games where she lit them up a little bit, where she was disappointed in the effort, and it had nothing to do necessarily with the result. It was just that they didn't play well enough and they didn't put their best effort on the field. Some of the results were unfortunate, as we saw. Late PKs, weird things happened to them, and those were times where, they did play well enough to win, and they just didn't get the result. And she made sure that message was conveyed. So, I've only known Laura Harvey a short time, but in that time I've been very, very impressed with her management style and how she handles players.
Foose on the free kick. Hemmings right at Solo. 45th minute. I don't think we'll get much added time here in the first half.
No, there hasn't been a lot of stoppage. Obviously, there's been no goals, and
maybe a minute. McLeod hauls it in.
everyone has to add a minute, don't they?
You have to have at least
There's
1
no
minute.
such thing as 0 extra time,
I've
is there?
never seen it, but our sideline a little too strong. Chalupny could not get to it. Well, there you have it. No added time. 45 minutes straight up first half here at Starfire Stadium, and scoreless between Seattle Reign FC and the Chicago Red Stars.
I know people are looking forward to a halftime interview of some type. Tonight's interview fell through. She's out of town. We had Michelle French, a.k.a. Frenchie, the head coach for the under-20 women's national team, lined up to come up to the booth, but she hasn't been able to make it this evening, and she's in preparation for their next camp, which is coming up this next week in Portland. And speaking of which, the under-20 national team is going to play a friendly against the Portland Thorns and a friendly against the Seattle Reign coming up later this month.
Well, teams making their way to the locker room, and certainly both coaches will have at the very least some fine-tuning to do after that first half, hoping to take advantage of some of the opportunities that will be coming their way, they hope, over the second 45 minutes here. As you get a good look at the crowd at Starfire Sports Stadium. It's about 15 miles south of Seattle. Tom Glasgow along with Lesle Gallimore. I think we ought to send a member of the Reign staff down after one of those Sounders players and get them up and talk a little bit about their season and
That's a good idea.
their support tonight of the Seattle Reign. Well, let's go back to the first half and just kind of some overall impressions that you had, first of all, with Seattle. We saw a couple of opportunities. Cordner with a bicycle kick. Jess Fishlock had an opportunity as well. They love to play through the midfield. They like what they call the beautiful game and doing it the right way. Didn't see as much of that in the first half, I know, as they would like.
Yeah, and I again, the scouting and knowing the players and being able to kind of take away their strength. And Chicago's not bad in the midfield themselves, so that hasn't been necessarily a strong point for either team tonight. The addition of Kenya Cordner and obviously, the flair that she brings and just the risk-taking that she's willing to lay it out for a bike, and the header from Jess Fishlock, maybe because they won the last game and they've been a team of midfielders leading up to this game, they're excited to, get it out of the midfield and start to create some things in the box with their forward line.
Now, if you're Chicago, your thoughts on how you're going to adjust and try to take advantage of Seattle? They had some scoring opportunities as well.
There's some things to be done. I think the back line for Seattle has been pretty good. We saw a couple opportunities where Hope had to make saves where they got outran, or they were a little bit staggered at the back and were left in an onside position. So you've got to clean that up and make sure that we're holding the same line so we don't give them any onside space to play in behind.
Again, if you want to send us some questions via Twitter, we encourage you to do that at Seattle Reign FC. I'm going to make you a little bit of our halftime interview here for a couple of moments because you touched on your trip over to Italy with your University of Washington women's team. You played 3 games over there. Tell us about the competition and who you played.
We played 2 Division II teams and one, sort of A Division Serie A type team, and we handled all 3 of them pretty well, and we've got a pretty good roster right now. So, they'll all tell you, American soccer is the best soccer, so they expect us to come over there and hand it to them a little bit. The great thing for us was to be able to spend time with our players and outside of school and outside of our regular environment where they could be a little bit more relaxed and just focus on the soccer, focus on the culture in Europe. We had the opportunity to have our team trained by 2 Italian Federation coaches, which was outstanding. Saw a lot of the northern part of Italy and just had a terrific time. It was a whirlwind trip. We're all still trying to recover from jet lag a little bit, but it was tremendous, and we've got quite a few players that will want to be playing either for the Reign or in the league next year. So it's another time for them to get that kind of international experience.
Well, if you're in Italy, I would imagine the opportunity for significant carbo loading was there, which can be a good thing. But Leslie, I'm curious as a coach, though. Look, you mentioned the cultural part of it. So how do you balance, the things you're trying to accomplish in terms of taking advantage of this situation soccer-wise with wanting it to be also an experience these players will look back for the things that occurred that weren't soccer related.
Well, Kate Deines, who's on this team, can attest. We took a team that she was on to Rio, Brazil, Rio de Janeiro in 2009, and it changed all those players. It just changed the way they look at the game and they look at soccer culture. And I think our players that just went on this Italian trip and all the other college teams that do this and take foreign tours, that's what they're for, is to let them experience sport and culture together. And as everyone knows, soccer is the world's game, and it's the international language. And all you have to tell someone when you meet them in a foreign country is that you play soccer and you know a lot about soccer, and their eyes light up and there's automatically a connection. So, that part for the players is really huge, and it takes them some time to absorb it, but it impacts them years later.
So how do you determine where to go and when? You mentioned Brazil, obviously Italy. Or is it where Leslie wants to go?
I typically pick places I want to go. Amy and I both traveled to China extensively, and we thought about China for a while because the Pac-12 has a big outreach in China going on right now. They just sent an all-star team, a volleyball team to China. We've been to China enough and wanted to see somewhere different. Maybe somewhere with a teeny tiny better food, a little bit less, pollution maybe. I don't know. But our time in China was great as players and as coaches. So we decided on Italy because neither of us had spent an extensive amount of time there. And I think in 2017 we're probably going to go to Scandinavia, most likely Sweden.
So is it every 4 years you're allowed to make these
You're allowed
trips?
to go every 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, we have some drums in the background. The plan for the next time around is?
I think Sweden.
Sweden.
Yeah.
I've been to Sweden, and let me just say, you may need a media representative to go with you.
We've had offers for all kinds of support staff, water boys, whatever, shoe tires. Amy's husband's job was I don't know what on this last trip, but he shagged balls quite a bit and ran around and did some stuff for us. So, we'll put in your application, Tom. We'll get back to you.
I'll do that. I may include some cash as well if that's what's needed. We are scoreless at halftime here at Starfire Stadium, just south of Seattle. The Red Stars of Chicago, the Reign of Seattle. We'll take a bit of a brief break and get back with you shortly. Stick with us here on YouTube.
you.
Barely. Give me a countdown from 5, please. Yes. Give me a countdown from 5. Welcome back. We're at halftime at Starfire Stadium, just south of Seattle. Chicago Red Stars, Seattle Reigns scoreless. And, one thing about Coach, she cannot be stopped. When we want someone to talk to, she went out and grabbed from the Seattle Sounders. Midfielder Andy Rose. Andy, great to have you with us.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
And thanks great to have you. Yeah, great to be out here supporting the Seattle Reign. I know you're here with a couple of other teammates.
Yeah, there's quite a few of us here. Been coming out to a few games. A lot of fun to watch from the stands and support a Seattle team, so we're enjoying it.
Very good. Talk about your guys' season so far. You got out of the gate slowly, came on very strongly, and things obviously head in the right direction.
Yeah, it's been an up and down one for sure. Come out of the gate slowly, like you said. Had a couple rough results in the beginning, but got really comfortable and confident in the middle there, and we've been... the last sort of 2 months have been a lot better. We've put on some great performances, scored some great goals, especially at home, put on some good shows in front of our home fans. So we'll be back at CenturyLink on Wednesday night looking to improve and get another 3 points.
Andy, talk a little bit about being a UCLA Bruin and playing for UCLA Bruin legend Ziggy Schmidt. You didn't play for him in college, but now you're here playing for him for the Sounders. Is there anything going from being a Bruin to being a Sounder that is similar?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one thing they teach you at UCLA is how to be professional. It's such a legendary program with so many great names coming out. And, just from my 4 years, there's probably 10 or 11 guys playing around the league, having a lot of success on our team, Patrick Ianni and David Estrada, as well as myself. So it's just you take a lot of pride when you come out at UCLA and have success as a pro. They really preach that and teach that. And, obviously Ziggy's a legend around Westwood, and it's just been a real privilege to play for him, knowing how much success he had in the college game and now in the professional game. So it's been great.
I've always been a big fan and a friend of Ziggy's, and one of the things that I notice from a coach's standpoint and that I've always admired is his management style and how he rotates players and how he handles you as a team. And I know you've been in the squad, out of the squad, and there's fatigue factors, there's performance factors. How does he keep you guys all working hard to earn those starting spots?
Well, he's very fair. It doesn't matter your age or your experience level. If you're playing well in training every day and performing at your highest capability, then he'll play you. He won't be scared to throw you into the deep end in a big match at home, whatever it is, in front of our fans. Last year as a rookie, I think 7 games into the season, I wasn't quite sure what my role was going to be, but he threw me in there. And you never know how you're going to do until you're out there. Unfortunately enough, it paid off. And so, I think that makes players keep believing that they'll get their chance, seeing other guys just take that opportunity when it comes. And, if you're doing it in training or in the reserve matches, he'll give you a chance. So that's huge for us.
Yeah, that's great. Now, were you able to be here in town for the U.S.-Panama qualifier?
I was, yeah.
Talk about Seattle a little bit and the atmosphere in Seattle for a soccer match.
Yeah, it was unbelievable to be a part of the crowd, especially, the boom boom clap there around the 70th minute. It was just unbelievable to be a part of. It gave me goosebumps. Different experience than being out on the pitch or on the bench or something like that, to be a part of it. And it just goes to show how special Seattle is as a soccer city. By far the best in the league. And spoke to a few of the guys on the national team, and they said the same thing. It was just the best experience they've had on American soil, a true American crowd, and it was just a great night.
Yeah, it's outstanding to hear. And here watching the Reign Games, a new organization, we're trying obviously to promote them and make sure that everybody knows that they're here. And the quality on the field and the players definitely warrants the Seattle love that the rest of the professional teams get. And I think we're starting to see that. So it's great to see you guys out watching them tonight.
Absolutely. I want Andy to make us a promise, though, before he goes. The next time you score, I want a little Obafemi Martins post-goal celebration. I want to see some backflips from you.
Well, I might be injured for a few weeks if I try that, so Ziggy won't be too happy with you.
All right. Well, think about it anyway. Andy, we really appreciate the time coming by. Enjoy the second half. here at Starfire Stadium.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, guys.
There
Thanks,
you go.
Andy.
Andy Rose, midfielder for the Seattle Sounders. Great to have him stop by. We'll take a brief break. When we come back, second half action between the Chicago Red Stars and Seattle Reign scoreless at halftime. Welcome back to Starfire Stadium. Second half about to begin between Seattle Reign FC and the Chicago Red Stars. Take a quick look at some of the highlights from the first half. Corner kick for Seattle, Christine Nairn. The header by Kay Deines and Kendra Cordner with a bicycle kick over the goal. Then it's Kirsten Dallstream into the box and Jess Fishlock getting some good power behind it, but unable to put it on goal. And then Hope Solo with a terrific save as Alyssa Mautz did a nice job dribbling in, and then Inka Grings with an opportunity but just really missed with that right foot as she wanted to poke it over Solo. And then Fishlock with a header and the terrific save by Erin McLeod. Some of your better goal scoring opportunities in the first half as we are getting second half action underway here at Starfire Stadium. Tom Glasgow along with Lesle Gallimore, and we have a special guest joining us for a few minutes from the Royal Guard, the Reign fan group, Stephanie Van Slageren. Stephanie, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
Well, talk about your love of this team and this sport and your group.
Well, a couple minutes isn't going to do it. Absolutely love this team. Love the heart they play with game in, game out, no matter the score. And that's what makes coming to these games special, is no matter what, you're going to get a good show by the Reign. And it's proud to support a team that plays that kind of heart.
I know when things are going tough as they were early in the season, these players really appreciate groups like yours staying behind them, staying positive, whether it's on Twitter or on Facebook. That's a big part of a first-year franchise and trying to get things going in the right direction.
Definitely.
Been a soccer fan all your life? Or
Recently,
Yeah.
about past 5 years.
Okay.
So I'm still coming new to the game. Been following the national team since '04, so it's nice to have a women's professional team. Even though we have the Sounders women, it's nice to have another team here.
So that was that 04 U.S. team was the one that got you hooked. That 04 team was the one that got you hooked on the game?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in Seattle, as you know, I mean, there are so many great teams in the WPSL, in the W League, and now in the NWSL. And what we've been, telling people all along is Seattle's a great soccer city, and there's enough supporters to go around for everybody.
It is, definitely.
Well, I've been really impressed with the whoever tweets for you, the play on words, the Reign, the royalty. Jess Fishlock's obviously chimed in on a lot of stuff, and I like someone with a good wit, and I've been very entertained following the Royal Guard on Twitter, and I've been, as Tom said, super impressed with how you guys have stuck by the team and really been vocal and a great support group. And I am excited to watch you guys grow as a group.
We are too. We have Alex down cabling for us, and this is her second match doing it. She's getting the grandstands going. We have a group over in the bleachers waving our flags, so we're definitely trying to get the word out, try to keep everyone positive about the Reign, because it's a great team to be excited about.
Who got beer garden assignment today?
Well, we actually were pushing for it earlier this season. It finally came along, so we were all like, yes.
We did not. We did not get the beer garden tonight, which would have been on a warm night.
And,
Okay.
and by the way, there's a great Seattle tagline. Your last hashtag, I don't even know if you knew you said it, but hashtag, we've been trying to stay positive about the rain. That's what we all do in Seattle. Try to stay positive about the rain.
Yep.
So Stephanie, before we let you go, if someone wants to become a member of your group, what's the best way for them to go about it?
The best way is to reach us on Facebook. It's / the Royal Guard SG. We also have our website we just launched. It's royalguardsg.com. All you do is sign up. You pay $25. You get a scarf, and you get to basically cheer with us, get to know certain things that only the members get.
Ooh, I love
so
that.
It's nice.
Secrets.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Good stuff.
We have a ton of them.
Well, Stephanie, we're glad you came by. Stephanie Van Slageren, member of the Royal Guard out here supporting the Seattle Reign. Stephanie, thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of the match.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming up.
Have a great evening. Into the 49th minute here at Starfire Stadium. Glancing out on the field, it does not appear that either team made any substitutions at halftime.
Oh, I see
Chalupny,
Megan
nice ball
Rapinoe
inside.
stretching.
Ball loose in the box, and that'll be a foul. You see me? I do. Now I see her over there stretching.
This is where the soccer coach
as
in me
well.
goes away and the soccer fan in me comes out. I
You want
love
Megan.
watching Megan Rapinoe. I've talked about this before. I was fortunate enough to be a fan during the 2011 World Cup in Germany, and Megan Rapinoe had,
The cross.
the cross,
Yeah.
and the cross heard around the world. And she's just, we had to compete against her while she was at the University of Portland, and I will say to this day, she's one of the smoothest, most entertaining players to watch on the pitch. And, she's not that old. She's going to get better and better. She's got a long career ahead of her if she wants it. And, I think you're going to, again, she's standing up. I don't know if she's been told to or she's just doing that on her own. But the minute you see her enter the field, you're going to hear a roar from this crowd.
And for those of you that aren't familiar with the cross, that was the quarterfinals against Brazil, the U.S. trailing the 122nd minute. And from the far sideline, it was a Rapinoe cross to
the one and only Abby Wambach.
And that tied the match, and then the U.S. went on to win in PKs. And then, fittingly, when Abby broke the all-time international goal-scoring record, the assist came from Megan Rapinoe. Dallstream. Good defense that time by Chicago. Michelle Wenino getting the right foot in the way. Dallstream midfield, lots of room there for Keelan Winters. Fishlock. Ball deflected by Hemmings.
Ooh.
Oh, and right into the
bread basket, as we
area.
say.
Whistle and a penalty kick coming up for Seattle as Cordner went down. And we also have a Red Star player injured and down, and I cannot pick up her number right now. Let's take another look at it.
The ball comes off Keelan Winters, knocks the wind out of her. And it's basically a great pass to Kenya Cordner, who she stripped from behind. It's a PK. It's a great call.
That is Ella Masar, who remains down and is being attended to by the Chicago trainer.
And the noise you're hearing right now is Megan Rapinoe is set to make her home debut for the Seattle Reign. She's checked in at the half. And if there's a positive outcome from the penalty kick that's going to ensue, it's going to be great timing for her to enter.
Well, we mentioned Coach Harvey had talked about 30 minutes, and it looks like Megan's going to get closer to 40 minutes. So maybe a little negotiation went on between the two. Not sure who's going to come off, and limping off the pitch is Ella Masar. We certainly hope she'll be able to return. A couple of Red Star players are warming up on the far sideline. Rachel Kwan appears to be one of those. And it looks like it'll be Kaylin Kyle to take the penalty for Seattle. Aaron McLeod in goal for the Red Stars.
Canadian versus Canadian. This will be an interesting matchup right here.
No goals on the season for Kaylin Kyle out of Saskatoon. I wonder how many times maybe in training they've gone against each other. Kyle with a goal and Seattle with a lead.
It's a great penalty kick by Kyle. Drills it very confidently.
In the 53rd minute, Kaylin Kyle, her first goal this season, and Seattle with the 1-0 lead.
And there you have a great exit by Kenya Cordner, who earns the penalty kick for Seattle. Kaylin Kyle catches McLeod diving to the opposite side, drills it home.
It's just almost a guessing situation for any goalkeeper.
And we're going to
McLeod
see.
went left and Kyle went the other way. And Megan Rapinoe is making her Reign debut and chasing a ball down right now.
And it looks like she's going to come in up front. Now I think, Seattle can maybe settle down a little bit and find their rhythm a little bit more, play a little bit more confidently with the 1-goal lead and get after another one. It's certainly enough time in this game for Chicago to make a comeback, so they can't just sit back and defend. They want to stay aggressive here.
And you hear the reaction from the crowd to the introduction of Megan Rapinoe. Solo having no trouble with that shot on goal. Of course, hoping Megan teammates on the U.S. national team. Just in Nairn with some room. Playing it outside, Bogus. Tripped up a bit. That'll be a throw in for Seattle.
Yeah, I think Liz should have taken a fall there. She was definitely tripped and worked a little bit too hard to stay up.
She needs to learn from Kenya Cordner when to go down.
And I think Kenya does that on purpose. She's like we talked about before. She's light. Doesn't take much.
But a substitution as Masar will be unable to return. She heads off, and coming on for Chicago, Maribel Dominguez is on.
Maribel Dominguez is one of the most capped Mexican players that there is, and she's definitely a veteran player. She's crafty. She is, to me, and I haven't seen what kind of form she's in on this team, and I haven't watched Chicago very much, but Maribel Dominguez is a very, very, very good player. So, maybe a super sub for them as she can score goals, and you really have to be careful. She can get in behind you. She can ghost off you. Anywhere within 20 yards, she's definitely got the flair to beat you one-on-one and get a shot off. So Seattle has to do a good job of keeping her in check.
Kyle looking for Rapinoe. Fishlock. Dallstream.
So for those...
Great ball. Rapinoe, Fishlock. And that ball was last touched by a Chicago defender. And you see an immediate impact, that Rapinoe-Fishlock combination. I think they love playing with each other.
Yeah, I love playing with each other, and it's just it's a little bit obvious and hard to, not overstate it, but Megan Rapinoe is just a quality player.
And Rapinoe to take the corner. Low line drive, McLeod hauls it in. Try to get her club going quickly the opposite direction.
And I was just about to say before that chance by the Reign is a lot of people that are Game of Thrones fans were talking earlier in the season. Yeah, Tom's raised his hand.
Yeah. Although I can never follow the plot lines.
Now that we have Rapinoe on the field and all that blonde hair between she and Fishlock and Kaylin Kyle, we do have Team Targaryen. So
very good. I know people have been thinking of potential nicknames, at least for the Fishlock Rapinoe
Release the
duo.
Dragons,
Yes.
I've heard. There's a lot of stuff going around. But there's one of them in each line of the field. So there's a backline player, a midfielder, and a forward. So if there's any kind of magic to it all, this means it's all really starting to click for the Reign.
After the match, you can explain the plot lines for me.
Yeah.
Can never keep them together.
I cannot speak the language. I know there's some people that can. I'm not that big of a fan.
Throw in for Chicago. We talked in the first half, might it take a goal to open things up and turn it into more of an offensive game. And we'll see if that's the case now with Seattle grabbing the 1-0 lead. A little bit of a curious decision there by Solo, but well under control.
That's when you're happy you have a goalkeeper that's good with their feet.
Yes.
And confident, apparently. At least she didn't, pull it back behind her or do a Cruyff or anything, but
maybe next time.
Good little feinting move.
McLeod out toward midfield to Mautz. Got a head on it. Deines looking for Rapinoe. Wenino with the defense for Chicago. Hemmings. Vandenbergh playing it back. Loose up ahead. Nairn. Oh, wide open Fishlock in the center of the field. Shoots and scores!
What a great pass by Christine Nairn.
Jessica Fishlock from distance. Her third goal of the season. A team high and the rain with a 2-0 lead in the 59th minute.
And this is where you can see that this team has stayed together through all the losses, through the hardships, through trying to rebuild, through injury, is how well they celebrate. Christine Nairn works to get into that bad pass by Chicago and just one times the ball straight up to Fishlock, who turns and just buries it. What an outstanding goal.
From about 20 yards out, could not have hit it any better. Again, third goal of the season for Jess Fishlock. The assist to Nairn, her second on the season. So a little bit of breathing room now for Seattle.
So as I was mentioning before, is you can see how they celebrate and the camaraderie between them as teammates. They've stuck through it thick and thin, and there's nothing better than a goal in soccer, and just the celebrations and how they react to one another, I think says a lot about this team and the future that they have, even just this season. They jump a couple spots in the standings, they get a little bit more confident. They could turn out being the little engine that could type of story.
I was speaking with Hope yesterday after training, and she talked about, because I asked her about the addition of Megan Rapinoe and how important that is, and certainly there's no bigger fan of Megan's than Hope. That ball has popped up over the goal, but she said what impressed her, this is Hope talking about the team, is she felt they were trending the right direction before Megan's arrival. So then you throw Megan into the mix and you can see the potential of what could happen in the second half. Rapinoe onside. McLeod beats her to the ball. Excellent job by Erin McLeod anticipating that pass that Rapinoe was trying to track down.
Yeah, there's no doubt that some of those one-goal games, even the draw, things were getting better, and they were starting to get players back. They were starting to get injured players healthy. They were starting to, solidify lines of the field that were working well together.
Rapinoe looking for Fishlock. Good idea. Jess giving her the thumbs up as McLeod hauls it in. Barnes with a header. Dominguez trying to chase it down, but he'll run out of room. Throw in for Seattle.
I think one of our tweets is asking if it's possible for the Reign to make the playoffs. I think mathematically it is still possible. I think the odds are, if you were in Vegas, they're not high.
Right.
A lot of things would have to happen. But with an 8-team league, it's not impossible at this point. They have not been mathematically eliminated.
And if that's your vision for this club, keep your eye on the point total for the fourth place team. See how that club progresses as of tonight and moving forward for a bit. It may be FC Kansas City. Western New York Flash is in third place with 22 points, 2 points ahead of Kansas City. Here's Fishlock. Wenino plays it out. And Seattle right now with just 5 points. If they can hold on tonight, that'll take them to 8. So I mean, you're right, Leslie. Mathematically, it's there, but I think for this team, and I get the impression that this group simply is keeping its focus on what's at hand, and that's including training to training, and simply half to half, and trying to keep it there. And then when you get down to the final 2 or 3 games of the season, see where you're at. McLeod beats Deines to the ball. Mautz. Dominguez. Onside. Shooting toward the goal off the post.
You could tell the way that came off her foot that Hope, I wouldn't say she misread it, but she knew right when it came off her foot it was a weird ball. I think she thought it probably cleared.
I'm not sure if Dominguez was just trying to put a ball into the box, hoping a teammate would get to it, or she was actually going for the shot, but it nearly resulted in making things much, much tighter here in Seattle.
Yeah, the thing that I am super excited about, in addition to the 2-0 score this evening on a beautiful night in Tukwila at Starfire, is the fact that you hear the crowd starting to get into it and starting to embrace this team, starting to get to know the players better. And with a new team and a new franchise in a new league, it doesn't take long for Seattle to pick up on that. And now that summer's arrived, I think they're going to start to see the crowds get better and better like it has this evening. And it's super exciting for the franchise.
Place we had Leslie Osborne going off for Chicago. Rachel Kwan coming on. Dallstream plays it out.
Another in a long line of really good players I've had to face in my coaching career. Rachel Kwan, an outside back from Stanford University, an Illinois native, very good at getting forward from the defensive position, creates, scores, can shoot. Fun player to watch. Ice in her veins. You never really see her change her expression. She's just one of those cool customers that gets the job done.
Also coming on, Julianne Sitch, number 19. We're trying to pick up who checked out of the Chicago lineup. But Sitch on and Kwan on the pitch for the Red Stars as head coach Rory Dames making some changes with his club down 2-0. Nairn in a foot race, won by Hemmings.
So you've seen Seattle now up 2-0 and still pressing, which is great to see. I mean, that's a good opportunity for them to work on that, to get more confidence, create more opportunities on goal.
Chalupny nearly had a very good opportunity come her way.
Even with the time remaining, a third goal would probably seal the deal here. Giving up one on the other end would make it a lot tighter. So I like the fact that they're pressing on some of those balls back. Aaron McLeod's having to come out and clear quite a few balls recently.
Goal kick coming up for Hope Solo. Trying to check the numbers. It may have been Vandenbergh who went off for Chicago, number 13.
You know, the thing about Fishlock and her clan back in Wales, they've got to stay up to the wee hours to see their beloved Jess play, and so I'll give them a shout out. I think it's 4 a.m. I've not met him, but I've heard a lot of different tweets about, I think, brother Gareth.
I met Gareth after a home match. He came, get this, Leslie, a terrific guy, by the way. He came to visit his sister on a Friday, saw a game on Saturday, and had to fly back home to Wales on Monday.
That's love.
That is brotherly love, no doubt about it. So, Gareth, thanks for joining us in the wee hours back home. Your sister doing the family proud and this franchise proud tonight with that terrific strike to put the Reign up 2-0.
Keep the coffee flowing.
For sure it's coffee. Into Fishlock. This little chip pass. Nairn throwing it up in the area of Rapinoe and played back to McLeod. Ellie Reed lets it go out. Throw in for Seattle. 68th minute at Starfire Stadium.
You mentioned Julianne Sitch a little bit ago. Best player probably out of DePaul University, and great opportunity for her to get into the match tonight, and let's see if she can make a difference.
Fishlock ahead, Rapinoe. Check it, Rapinoe to Fishlock. I knew those Platinum Blondes would get me at one point. Just a little bit taller, but that was 15 passing to 10.
I thought that was an interesting call. Rapinoe came from an offside position and came back. Maybe the AR was a little confused by the Platinum Blonde as well, because I thought Fishlock came from an onside position through. So yeah, I'm not sure that was the best call, and I think that's what they're throwing their hands up about a little bit.
Well, maybe they did, in fact, make that call. I didn't see the flag come up either, but based on where McLeod's taking this kick, they did catch the offsides. Rachel Kwan with the left foot playing it ahead, but over the touchline. And, of course, Seattle now will be in no rush to get any of these types of balls. Patience on the throw-ins.
I think now what you're going to see is a good problem. Seattle, you've seen a lot of Fishlock Rapinoe connection, and a lot of balls tried to be played into Megan, and Megan on the ball quite a bit. Here you go again. And good recovery by Chicago.
Oh, terrific move by Rapinoe into the 18. He takes the shot, didn't have as much oomph behind it as she would have liked, but just a terrific job getting into scoring position.
And that's what's fun to watch about Rapinoe. And another great ball from Fishlock. What I was about to say is this is again, people can scout it as much as they want, but this is going to be the strength of one of the strengths of their team. I think defensively they've been a pretty good team all year, but from an attacking standpoint, we've seen it come down this side quite a bit. Now they've got to have the discipline to go back and around, and not forget about Liz Bogus over on the right-hand side hanging out.
Hemmings getting ahead on it. Mautz and Winters battling. Mautz trying to switch it, and there's Liz Bogus. Kate Deines cleaning up.
I think quietly throughout this game that Kate and Keelan have done a really good job of, plugging some holes in the midfield, stepping in, playing some good balls out. There goes Maribel Dominguez. Good on the ball, good facing, good taking on. She's already served a couple balls.
Rapinoe will leave the ball for a Dallstream throw-in. Played back to Solo with Grings trying to apply some pressure. Rapinoe ball taken away. Hemmings, Dominguez. And the ball played in by Chalupny. No trouble for Hope Solo. Christine Nairn taking the shot. Nairn trying to play ahead to Bogus, and McLeod gets there. But I like the decision-making process in that final third, and some space that's being created. Being taken advantage of by the rain.
Definitely. One of the questions coming in is do we credit Hope and Rapinoe for the recent success of the team? There's no doubt that players of the caliber of Megan Rapinoe and Hope Solo are going to add to the team. I think Hope, it took her a little while to get into...
and just missing on that turnover.
Liz Bogus is going to want to have that one back. She had, or not Liz, I think that was Nairn.
Nairn, yeah.
And Nairn's probably going to want to have that one back. She was looking at the right spot. She just missed a little bit wide, but that would have been, I think, the nail in the coffin.
Goal kick for McLeod as Chicago dodges a bullet right there.
But I would say even more than the addition, and maybe there was the light at the end of the tunnel that Coach Harvey always knew that Rapinoe was going to show up at the end of June. She knew that Hope's wrist was going to get better and was going to join the team. So I credit the rest of the players actually for their recent success, because Rapinoe and Hope are professionals, but I don't think either of them could have come into a team that was negative in their losing and done well. So I think that the team and Coach Harvey and her staff have a lot to do with their recent success, and they kept this team together.
Grings with a shot, the save by Solo. And you know, Leslie, it's interesting, and I made the point in the first half, that to a player they kept talking about, we're staying positive, we're sticking together. Now, most teams will say that. You don't know which ones actually mean it, and clearly this group meant it. Despite the adversity, they kept their eye on the prize, and I guess in short order, the prize was the arrival of Hope, of Megan. Stephanie Cox will be joining. Jessica McDonald signed this week, coming over after being placed on waivers. So, you know, it's part of professional sports. You're going to see roster change, but they knew some things were coming and some positive things were coming.
Definitely, and again, you know, it's a little bit cliche, but actions always speak louder than words. And like you said, you've always been able to tell, with the exception of maybe one game where I felt like they'd kind of snapped a little bit, and Laura snapped, and rightfully so. They didn't play their best. And there's a time as a coach that you have to point that out, and you can't let them get away with it.
That was gorgeous by Megan Rapinoe to Fishlock. And the defense recovers for Chicago as McLeod clears it out. Foul on Deines. If you want to move that ball back about 10 yards. Well, they had played it. Chicago simply passed it to Seattle.
She didn't ask for her 10 yards. She played it and played it right to the rain, and Inga Grings is going to be depressed if this results in a goal. That was a bad giveaway.
Barnes battling. Ball last touched by Chicago. Looked like it was Mautz who touched it last. It was.
The other player kind of quietly going about her business, who's been very good, not just in the last few games since her move to center back, but over the season, has been Lauren. She goes by Lou Barnes. She's just been solid. She's got great speed, great athleticism, and tough defensively. She doesn't get beat very often, and I've really been impressed watching her play. And I was going to.
Winter's having a go at it.
I was going to say earlier that part about this team sticking together, and the thing that they only had a little bit of and needed more of, was the experience and the veteran piece. And I think that's the thing that Rapinoe and Hope have also added, that this team they were sticking together and doing the best they could, but just that veteran sort of leadership that you're missing with young players that maybe are just more worried about playing time and getting their spot and doing the best they can, as opposed to having to lead the team. And Fishlock was carrying a lot of that. Keelan Winters was carrying a lot of that. And so the arrival of Pino and Hope has been very good and timely.
Talk about the importance of that communication element of the goalkeeper and her defense and directing them.
Oh, just the more you're together, the better you're going to be. You can't just, I don't care how good you are, you can't just throw a goalkeeper in or even a back line in and have them individually be good and then collectively expect them to be great right off the bat. It takes time and game experience, and it takes, some failure before you can have success sometimes. So I think that, they're definitely coming together, and they've been solid, and the consistency has been a plus for Coach Harvey.
Grings fouled on that run, so a free kick in a very good offensive position for Chicago coming up. And certainly this match is not anywhere close to being over, with 14 minutes at least left to play.
Yeah, Kate's got to be a little more disciplined there. She's beat on the dribble, but she had plenty of help behind her, and it wasn't a breakaway situation. I think she needed to maybe give one of her center backs an opportunity to make that tackle instead of giving up a dangerous free kick.
Grings to take it. Little chip into the box, headed out by Barnes. Foose tries to play it back in. Maybe an opportunity here. Oh, and you saw the great effort by Fishlock, and then Rapinoe. And Hemmings getting a little feisty, and Megan sends Hemmings back on her way. Dallstream plays it ahead. Offside is Nairn. Christine Nairn offside. Didn't see that coming. It hasn't really been one of those sort of chippy matches.
No, that was, I think Jess Fishlock's aggression to go and win that tackle, and it was a great tackle. I think maybe got Chicago a little bit riled up. And right now they're fighting for points, and if they want to make this game a match, they've got to get one in the next few minutes. I think in the 70s somewhere, it's the 78th minute currently, and if they can sneak one, that's going to give them a lot better chance of trying to draw it. If they, continue to lose possession and don't create chances.
Kaylin Kyle down, but back up. Looks like she'll be fine. Member of the Canadian national team.
Saskatoon, I just like to say it.
Deines. Pino got the foot up near the face of Wenino.
Yeah, you definitely can
down.
feel the intensity going up. Chicago's
yeah.
got to push for a goal now, and that's what's happening. I mean, their intensity level's going up. They're getting a little aggravated. They're contesting some things more.
Who's looking for Dominguez?
Possessions being lost a little bit more. They're going more direct. It's just becoming more tackles and air duel at this point.
Hemmings with a header, unable to control it. Throw in for Seattle. Into the 80th minute here at Starfire Stadium. Great to have you with us on this Saturday evening.
Great to see the Sounders men out. Eddie Johnson, Steve Zakawani tweeting about the game. Super impressed with the level. Great to have that kind of fan support.
Good of Andy Rose to join us at halftime. Another member of that Sounders team. Seattle with a 2-0 advantage. Goals in the second half. The first coming on a penalty kick. Kaylin Kyle connecting after Kenya Cordner was taken down in the 18. And then it was Jessica Fishlock from about 21 yards out. Beautiful strike to give Seattle the 2-0 advantage. The pressure's certainly on the Chicago team to come up with something quickly.
So this isn't a position that the Reign have been in too many times.
Grings has some room, the left-footed shot, and solo there. Grings really did not get much behind that one.
Up 2-0. I was going to say this isn't a position that they've been in maybe once this season. That one time they lost? The game where Kate went down.
Well, they had the 4-2 game earlier this season. They were up 1-0.
1-0, yeah.
1-1, went up 2-1 early in the second half, and then ended up losing 4-2.
So the point I was going to make is that,
Nice run into the box.
In this position, what Seattle has to do, up to 2-0, is they've got to find their calm and their composure. At this point, with less than 10 minutes left, they don't have to keep going forward. They're up 2-0. They've got to find a way to keep it. Now they're just sending balls to no numbers. They've got to, keep moving up and down the field together to try to possess the ball, preferably in the attacking half or at least the middle third, not anywhere around their goal. And so this is where leadership's going to come in handy. It's going to be interesting to see what Fishlock and Pino do now. And even Keelan and Kate in the middle part of the park is to help settle them and calm them on the ball.
Bogus. Seattle throw in and substitution coming for Seattle. And it'll be Jess Fishlock going off.
She's run a country mile tonight. She's covered some ground. Jess Fishlock never disappoints when it comes to work rate.
Gareth, if you'd like, you can hit the sack. Your sister's heading off with a 2-0 lead.
Come on, Gareth. It's only 8 more minutes. Stick to it.
I'm sure he'll stick around. So Fishlock off. Teresa Noyola coming on for the Reign, number 8.
It's another player that Coach Harvey talked about being a little bit fatigued, so she's going to give Jess Fishlock a little blow and come in and work hard the last 10 minutes. Stanford standout, Mexican national team standout, a young player with the Mexican national team, Teresa Noyola. She can cause problems. She is great with the ball. She'd be someone that if you get her on the ball a lot right now can help your team keep it and kill the clock in this game.
Offside call against Seattle. That ball could be brought out. I'm not sure if McLeod didn't see that call, but the flag definitely went up. Foul line, Deines. As she went over the back of Santacaterina. Oh, solo. And denied. Chicago will try to connect on the corner.
I almost just screamed into my mic, and someone's bound to tweet about the noise I just made when that one almost just went in. But that was a great kick save, hockey save by Hope on a very dangerous ball into the box.
Header scoring for Chicago. Wenino, I believe, number 23 coming in. And all of a sudden, things getting very interesting at Starfire Stadium.
Yeah, and that's a focus moment for the Seattle Reign. Hope makes the great save. The ball goes out for a corner. You've got to refocus on the restarts. 23 gets on the inside of Bogus, I believe. She doesn't go up with her, and that's just a free header. Can't happen.
Michelle Wenino elevating over Bogus for the goal in the 84th minute. Plenty of time for Chicago to turn what looked like no points into at least a point here tonight. And the pressure now maybe a little bit more back on Seattle.
And you know, that's the thing where you can on video see obviously Liz Bogus was in the area and it was a player in and around her. But if you looked at the entire setup of the restart and the corner kick, not many of them were ready. Hope made a great save. It goes out for a corner. You've got to hit the reset and the focus button there and work hard to get your assignments right. And you just got to go find the ball. Great finish by Wenino. I've had to say her name one time tonight because you always want to call her Wenino.
That is her first, based on the spelling, you're right, her first goal on the season. She had an assist coming in.
Good player out of the University of Colorado. She also spent some time playing in Germany with Freiburg.
And Chicago very much energized by that goal, as they should be. Now near the end line, ball deflected out of the 18-yard box.
Christine Nairn is another great player to get the ball to. She's skillful. She'll hold it.
Foul going against Chicago as Noyola was pushed to the ground. Well, unlike the first half, we will definitely have added time here in the second half. So we are in the 86th minute, and Seattle trying to hold on to not only get a second consecutive victory, but its first victory here at home this season. Noyola. Winters switching the ball, looking for Bogus. Very nice ball to Liz Bogus. Bogus cutting back, trying to create some room, trying to get that left foot in play. Finds Noyola, who lost it. And McLeod tracks it down.
That was a good little flurry there by the Reign. Liz Bogus working hard to try to create there. Had it on her left foot, but she wasn't really squared up to the goal. She was flat to it. Great ball to play off. Teresa Noyola with a crafty move to get behind her defender. Touch was just a little bit too hard.
Another foul on Deines, and this sets up a dangerous situation for the Reign defensively.
Multiple players back the post, including our goal scorer, Wenino. They've got to find a way to get matched up with her and not let her in. They look more focused and more matched up right now, but this is a dangerous chance for Chicago.
Foose to take the free kick. Foose. And Rapinoe coming out of the box with it. Throw in for Chicago.
That was well done by Lou Barnes.
Mautz trying to get ahead on it. Cleared out by Deines. Who's plays it back up ahead? Kyle. Deines.
They've got to settle it.
And Noyola playing it back. Kate Deines to Rapinoe. You see the skill by Rapinoe. She sizes up the field. Terrific switch to the far sideline. Bogus. Winners.
Now,
It looks like the focus much more on possession. Noyola trying to chase it down and keep it in and cannot. And it'll be a throw-in.
yeah, they had the right idea there, though. Switching ball by Rapinoe, a couple of passes to possess it, then maybe a through ball. Now they've turned it over, but it's deep in the corner, and this is a place where we can, lock them in and get the ball back.
Player of the match. We need to name one before this is over, so start thinking about that. If any of you watching want to send us your thoughts via Twitter, feel free to do that at Seattle Reign FC.
You had Cordner draw the foul on the PK and a bicycle kick that wowed the fans. You have Pino's entrance into the game that's been stellar in a short amount of time. You had the outstanding Fishlock goal. Hope's had a couple of terrific saves. 3, I think, that are game-saving at the least.
Wenino looking for Dominguez. Well done by Barnes. Barnes maintaining possession, getting by Mautz. Barnes still with it. Terrific job by Lauren Barnes. Back to Dallstream. Ahead to Rapinoe.
That's what happens when you have an outside back that plays center back. She's getting restless and decided that she was going to get a little fitness in before the game ended. Great run up the sideline by Lauren Barnes.
Rapinoe across the middle, dangerous. But Nairn unable to get on the end of it. That could have very easily made it 3-1 Seattle.
So I know there's a lot of people out there. Most people have seen Megan Rapinoe play with either the University of Portland or the U.S. Women's National Team, most with the U.S. Women's National Team. But if you haven't seen her play and you don't know what all the rave is about, she's just a wow factor.
Yeah.
The things she does on the soccer field are, they're special. And she's skillful. She's got an eye for the game. She makes it exciting, and that's what you want the game to be, is exciting.
Just about to find out how much added time we will have. Noyola with a touch to Bogus. 4 minutes of added time. So that is good news for Chicago, trailing 2-1.
Keep calm, let it rain is what I say.
Up ahead to Winters.
They can just, again, try to deny the long pass. Chicago's going to continue to play direct. When Erin McLeod gets it, if she's going to hit it long, they've got to drop off and win it coming forward.
Barnes.
If they're going to clear it, they've got to clear it deep into the corners.
Chicago on the attack. Shot on goal right to Solo. That shot taken by Sitch. And Hope will take her time. Launches the long ball over the head of Noyola. Rachel Kwan trying to play it up ahead, blocked by Bogus. Room for Chicago. You want to make a call on your player of the match?
Fishlock.
I would go with Fishlock as well. Jess Fishlock
But the fan favorite.
is our player of the match with her goal to right now is the difference. And that goal coming in the run of play. Megan Rapinoe, maybe the choice of a good number of our folks on Twitter. That's a dangerous ball in the box. Cleared out. Shot blocked by Winters. Grings trying to cut back.
Good job by Rapinoe there to get a toe in. Now they've just got to get to the corner. There's got to be under 2 left.
Oh, nice touch, and right back to Noyola. What a terrific combination, but offside.
Yeah, that was a good effort by them to try to keep it. Crafty by Noyola, but she was offside. It was a good call. Now we have to defend at least one more long attempt by the Chicago Red Stars.
Defensively is your first thought, if I can just get a foot to it, kick it as far as I can to the
Yes.
other end at this point.
Yes.
Now a 2-on-1 advantage for Seattle.
Now Nairn doesn't need to do anything. Pass it to
Nairn.
Rapinoe, who will go hold it.
Rapinoe
If she thinks she can get a shot off, she will, but she'll take as long as she
shoots
possibly
and
can.
scores! Megan Rapinoe seals the deal for Seattle with an added time goal. The Reign lead 3-1.
Clutch, composure, and so fun to see in her home debut. Keelan Winters over to give her some pilot love. She holds it as long as she can. I'm a little surprised. I'm not sure who that was. I think Sonia Foose doesn't come to her closer. She's got there's not much of a chance that Erin McLeod had. She has to close her down. She had no help from her center back, and she calmly, coolly slots it into the back of the net. And it's, again, back to Seattle, Megan Rapinoe.
Is it too late to change it to co-players of the match?
No, let's just go
Let's
Team
do it.
Targaryen. Kaylin Kyle had the PK, right? Let's just go with the Game of Thrones. We're talking about the Royal Guard and all things royal.
We can change whatever we want.
We can say whatever we want. The Reign
And
have won
there it
at
is. First win at home in Seattle Reign franchise history. They get it done at 3-1. Back-to-back victories for the first time in franchise history as they follow up the win in Boston on Wednesday with a victory here tonight, and a total of 5 goals in the 2 games combined.
And out of the cellar.
And out of the cellar.
One, it's just interesting to see, in an 8-team league, how quickly you can get out of the basement in an 8-game league with just 2 wins in a row. And it bodes very well for the Seattle Reign. Jess Fishlock named the MVP of the game. Megan Rapinoe with a goal. Kaylin Kyle with a PK off the foul called against Kenya Cordner, who is definitely starting to make an impact on this team. And big shout out and congratulations to Coach Laura Harvey for the first home win in front of the home fans, to owner Bill Predmore and this franchise, and bringing this team to Seattle. And it's just been a long time coming and a ton of fun for the Seattle fans tonight to be treated to a 3-1 victory.
So from 5 points to 8 points, from last place to 7th place, the Chicago moves past the Washington Spirit now in the standings, and the Red Stars, who made it very, very interesting down the stretch, will hold with 12 points. Second meeting between these clubs going Seattle's way after both opened the season against each other.
Well wishes
back in Illinois with a 1-1 draw.
And well wishes to Ella Masar. I'm not sure what her injury was, but whatever injury she did sustain in the game, well wishes to her for a speedy comeback. I hope it's nothing too serious. And we look forward to seeing Seattle again soon.
Chicago will return home for its next match on the 4th of July. They will kick that off at 1 o'clock as they take on the Western and New York Flash. And for Seattle, an opportunity for a 3rd consecutive win will come here at home at Starfire Stadium on Wednesday night with a 7 o'clock kickoff against the Boston Breakers, the team that they just defeated this past Wednesday. So you can see the smiles on the faces of the Reign players. Maybe a little bit of relief as well, as it got a little bit dicey late until that counterattack led to a 2-on-1 opportunity played perfectly by Megan Rapinoe in her home debut as a member of the Seattle Reign. 3-1 the final. Goals again tonight by Kyle on the penalty kick. Fishlock, direct strike from about 21 yards out, and in added time, Megan Rapinoe with the 3rd goal for Seattle. Well, all in all, not only a very good result for the Reign, but in the second half, we were scoreless at halftime. They really put a lot of good things together, Leslie.
They did. The second half was tremendous for the Reign. They stuck with the game plan. they stayed aggressive in the attack, getting balls into the box, and great to get a penalty kick call. We've seen one too many, go the other way this season, so it was great to go up in the game, and I think that just gave them more confidence.
So Megan Rapinoe certainly making a significant impact in her roughly 40 minutes of play this evening. Very impressive as she got it done this evening. You look at Rory Deines in the red polo, head coach of the Red Stars, heading off. They will attempt to regroup and get back on track on the 4th of July against the Western New York Flash. As you look at some of the action from the first half this evening, Cordner with a bicycle kick, Fishlock with a header, great save by Aaron McLeod, and then the breakthrough for Seattle in the second half. The Kyle penalty kick after the foul on Cordner set up that opportunity. And then take a look at this strike by Fishlock. Again, from about 21 yards out, perfectly done. Grings saved by Solo. Hope with an outstanding game tonight. Wenino with the only goal for Chicago, the header. That made it 2-1 with plenty of time. And then Fishlock says, not on my watch. We'll just wrap this thing up.
That was Rapinoe.
What did I say? Fishlock?
It's the hair.
I know, it's 15. I saw
It's
the
going to kill
number.
you.
Megan Rapinoe with that goal. Terrific night as you see the fans begin to file out. Leslie, always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure, Tom.
Will I see you on Wednesday?
I will be here.
I'm not sure if there'll be a fireworks show, but I'll try to bring a sparkler for you. We'll try to make it happen.
Perfect.
Good stuff. Hope you'll join us for that. 7 o'clock on a Wednesday night as the Reign take on the Boston Breakers for our entire crew here at Starfire Stadium. Seattle Reign, Boston Breakers on Wednesday. We hope to see you then. Again, the final score here tonight, Seattle 3 and Chicago 1.
Let it rain.